So let's begin the first question. And Jahana, it's fine if like it's a yes or a no. No, I'm so sorry. If even if you are not able to answer correctly, just give a educated guess. Okay. In exam also, many a times we got to do these kind of things. So
Okay,
learning
ma'am.
objective. Learning objective means learning experiences, concise outcomes, academic achievement, or intended learning outcomes. Okay, let's discuss a bit on learning. Learning. Learning is to, why do we do learning? First thing, see, there is a difference between teaching and learning. When if I have to give you teaching, see, in teaching, the major objective, we can take a note of this. Teaching, major aim of teaching is all of this. I'll first explain teaching little and then we come to learning. Teaching is to bring changes in the behavior of the student. Very very important point. Like teacher is like a higher authority in the teaching, and the major aim of teaching is to bring changes in the behavior of the student. In teaching, teacher is like a high authority, है ना? So teaching, teacher helps students, and teacher gives them a kind of syllabus, lesson plan, curriculum. And in teaching, teacher has a kind of more of autonomy compared to what learning is, if you have to compare that. What is conditioning? When we say conditioning, conditioning is to improve the learning skills of student. Conditioning is the way like animals learn. Jahana, if we are aware of conditioning theory of Pavlov, or conditioning theory of Skinner. Have you heard of these names, Pavlov and Skinner?
No, ma'am.
No, I'll just briefly explain upon these. Uh,
Okay, ma'am.
this is a conditioning theory, classical conditioning theory, which is given by Pavlov. So, what Pavlov did, Pavlov experimented with a dog. So, let's example, this is a dog. Okay, hypothetically, it is a dog. Now, if you normally put a bell in front of dog, will the dog do anything? No, because dog, for dog, bell is not a attraction. But what Pavlov did, Pavlov put a bell, and then it was followed by a piece of meat. So earlier, and this experiment was repeatedly done. So what happened when the dog got conditioned. After conditioning of the dog, after conditioning of the dog, the moment the bell was ringing, the dog started salivation. Why? Because dog's mind was conditioned in such a way that bell will be followed by piece of meat. Yeah, similar theory. This was classical conditioning theory of Pavlov. There is another conditioning theory which is given by Skinner. This is used a lot in teaching. Skinner experimented with a rat. So what Skinner did, let's say this is a mouse. Okay, uh to a mouse he gave two buttons. One was blue button, and let's say other was red button. So if the mouse press the blue button, sorry, if the mouse press the red button, he will get a mild electric shock. Okay, and if if the mouse will put the press the blue button, what you will get? A food palette. Okay, so over a period of time, what mouse will do, it will try to avoid red button, है ना? And it will try to press blue button on most of the occasions. Yeah, So this is the conditioning when you want to improve the learning skills of student. Same theory of conditioning you apply. Hope you got the basic meaning of conditioning. Okay, then training, you can write down training is for a particular skill, like I say motor training or driving, swimming. These are skills for which you train. So training is always for a particular skill. You can take a note of. Instruction is in a part of your training itself. Step by step you are imparting knowledge. What is indoctrination? Let's understand this word. Indoctrination is formation of a belief. If we connect to, let's say, our religious textbooks, do we accept the things written in religious textbook? Yeah, we do not generally tend to question. We say it is a rule of thumb, it has come from God, है ना? And we tend to form it as a part of our belief, something which is imbibed in us, so much so that we take it on face value and we do not generally question. That is indoctrination, formation of a belief, something which is imbibed in your character itself. Got these terms: conditioning, instruction, indoctrination. So when we'll be doing teaching in detail, we'll talk more on this, but at least the basic meaning of teaching is to bring changes in the behavior of student. Very important point. Teaching is about behavior modification. Okay, now what is the aim of learning? That was the question. Learning objective, why do we learn? So can we just try to guess this? Why do we learn? Learning objective means, see, aim of learning is to understand. Can learning be without teacher? Yes, certainly. We can learn through YouTube, we can learn through our practical life. Yeah. So, yes, intended learning outcome is the correct answer. Good, Karthikeyan. So, when we say learning, learning can be self, need not be always from teacher. But remember, like for example, right now we are learning for NTA net exam. So this learning, willingly we have taken time from our schedule and we are learning. So this learning is essentially for a particular outcome. There will always be a objective to learning. Learning, you can't mandate on student for learning. Student will be self-directed. You can take down few keywords for learning. Learning is self-directed for students and learners are responsible for learning. Another thing you can take regarding learning is learning can be cautious. Learning can be unconscious also. At times we are learning without even realizing that we are learning things. Hope this is clear. Learning objective is intended learning outcome. That's the correct answer. Okay, let's move to next question. Learning outcomes is beyond earning a degree. Students are can attend a degree, skill, ability. So largely learning is largely a self concept. Okay, then workshop, let me just number it for you. 1 2 3 4. So what do we understand by workshop? In research also you will hear these terms: workshop, seminar, conferences. So workshop, the keyword for workshop is, acha, try if we can answer this and then we discuss.
Learning with interaction.
Learning with interaction. Okay, workshop is hands-on experience. Okay, workshop is hands-on experience. Let's know little about workshop. When we say workshop, we are trying to take charge of our own learning, become active and engaged in the work. Like for example, if I say Excel, you're aware Microsoft Excel. So you are attending a workshop on Excel, and then you will yourself do some kind of calculation formulas. So here can we say that we are ourselves in charge of our learning. So learning, when you yourself are creative, completely involved, so that is what my hands-on experience. I am doing it, and parallelly I am also learning it. Okay, that is workshop. Brainstorming can be as a method, can be used for what is brainstorming?
For generate new ideas in the area of
Generate new ideas in the area of interest. Very good. Karthik, Jahana, very good. So, generate new ideas in the area of interest. Let's just quickly discuss little on workshop. In brainstorming, there is a facilitator. Okay, the chairperson, and there will be members who will be, so facilitator when initiates a topic, then every member just pours in their ideas. Everybody is pouring in their ideas. Remember, no idea is criticized. No idea is criticized in the brainstorming. You can take a note. No idea is criticized here. Only the aim is to generate as many ideas as possible. So what it says, the purpose of brainstorming is to discover new ideas, responses very quickly, because everybody is pouring in ideas. The idea is to get as many ideas as possible without judging them. No idea is criticized, that is all ideas are given equal credence. That is brainstorming. So here everybody is encouraged to come up with new ideas. Yeah, so generate new ideas in the area of interest. That's the correct answer. Very good. Next is for optimizing self learning. Which of the following principle will be most helpful? I'll just mark it for you. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Take time, read yourself, and try and answer. Try to connect it with learning outcomes. Why do we learn? Self learn.
Second one, ma'am.
Second one, okay. We'll wait for Jahana also.
I think third one.
Okay. Providing scope for satisfying need for competence. So learning we are doing, remember learning, the aim of learning is to understand. The first thing, we are learning something. Let's say I am learning a new skill. I am learning, let's say, driving. Why? Because I'm interested to drive. I am learning swimming. Okay. So I'm interested to learn a particular, I have a quest for learning and I want to satisfy that quest. So that brings us to providing a scope for satisfying the need for competence. I want to achieve a competency in a particular skill or a particular objective. My major aim is to understand and apply knowledge in through self-learning. Creating scope for fulfilling relatedness needs, not just relatedness need. So relatedness needs, learning is for self. Remember, we are talking about self-learning. So I think third one is the correct answer here. Yes, third one, providing scope for satisfying need for competence. Okay. Next question. The performance of a student is compared to that of another in what type of testing? So let's discuss this. Two types of test we'll talk here is criteria reference test and norm reference test. These are the standardized tests to measure. So two standardized tests here. Standardized tests, you have two subcategories. First is norm reference testing and criteria reference testing. So norm reference testing, what do we mean by norm reference testing? Let's understand. Norm reference assessment compares student against a group average in order to rank students' performance. You are comparing a student to a group. Like if I am saying that, let's say Jahana scored 80th percentile. That means that Jahana is better than 80% of the people in the group. So in norm reference testing, you have a relative position. You are comparing yourself in a particular group against a group. You are comparing, let's say there are 100 kids in the class and Jahana is at 80th, means she is better than 80th people. 80% of the people she is better than, because she has scored 80th percentile. But there are still 20%. I'll put Jahana here, right? Yahan pe she is there. Still 20% people are better than Jahana. So you are getting it. Norm reference testing. In norm reference testing, you are talking about the relative position. You can take a note for norm reference testing. Norm reference testing is a relative position. That means she is better than 80% of the people in the class, provided she scores 80th percentile, and she is worse than 20% of the remaining people in the class. Hope the norm reference testing meaning is clear. Okay, then the second standardized test is criteria reference testing. So in criteria reference testing, you can take down a keyword. This is based on mastery of a specific set of predetermined standard. Mastery of fixed set of predetermined criteria. Mastery of a fixed set of predetermined criteria. So if I say, let's say example, if I'm talking class examination as an example, if I'm saying, let's say Sudhir scored 60 out of 100 in, let's say paper 2 or XYZ paper, let's say, ठीक है, in class 10. Okay, Sudhir scored 60 out of 100 in paper 2 in class 10. Now maybe Sudhir scored 60 out of 100. Maybe Karthik also scored 60 out of 100. Possible? Two people having same score possible? Yes. So here your criteria is fixed. Like if you are getting 60, you will pass. If you are getting less than 60, you will not pass. So here you are just focusing on a specific area. Like within a class there can be 40 students who are scoring 60. Possible? Yes. So this type of testing is criteria reference testing. Criteria reference testing is test assessment which are designed to measure against a specific set of standards which is predetermined. Got the basic meaning of criteria reference testing and norm reference testing. Repeating once more, in norm reference testing we are talking about relative position. Okay, that is the keyword for norm reference testing. Relative position we are talking about, and in criteria reference testing we are measuring against a fixed set of specific criteria. Yeah. Now coming back to the question was the performance of a student is compared with that of another in which type of testing? I give you only two options here: criteria reference testing or norm reference testing.
Norm reference
No.
testing.
Norm reference. So straight away, if you're clear with the meaning, you should be good to answer. Now let's understand these two also. So I'll explain here three: summative test, formative test, and diagnostic test. So let's go one by one. First one is formative test. You can take down keyword for formative test is during instruction, means your learning is still not complete. So in formative assessment, while the students are still forming new knowledge, that means they are still learning and you are assessing them. So formative assessments are typically short, frequent, and provides students with the feedback that can help to guide learning. Now this is providing feedback, very very important. See, during learning you can do that. Like for example, we have a batch going on for paper one, okay, and in between I teach a unit. Let's say I complete teaching and I give you a test on teaching. See, the final outcome will be, what will be the final outcome? You qualified UGC net. Yeah, you qualified UGC net. That is the final outcome. But in between your learning, I am completing a unit and giving you a test. That will be example of formative assessment. Now, if teaching is complete, I give you a test. It is providing feedback to you, of course, like this is how much you have covered. Is it also providing me feedback? Yes, it is also providing me feedback that how far I was successful to deliver unit 1. So feedback is provided quickly both to the students as well as teacher can self correct that okay, this much maybe more is required, more effort is required from my end, and even students can correct themselves. Okay, I'm only 50% through with the teaching, maybe I need to put in more efforts. Yeah, okay. So this is formative. You can take a keyword. This type of assessment happens during instruction. Okay, then summative. So summative is just at the end of it. Yeah, so just the reverse of formative is summative assessment. So we said during teaching is formative assessment, and uh, at the end of teaching, some of students learning, this type of assessment is at the end. So at the end of it, example UGC net exam, final exam UGC net, you either qualify or you do not qualify. So I can compare, if you qualify, pass, not pass. So something which is at the end, that is the summative. Remember, the major aim of summative evaluation is to grade or certify the student. You can write down this: aim of summative assessment is to grade or certify the student, pass, fail. That is it, summative evaluation. Okay, so we have spoken about summative assessment. We have also spoken about formative assessment. Now what is diagnostic? Let's talk even about diagnostic. So diagnostic, think of it like doctor. You connect it with doctor. What happens when we go to doctor? First doctor give you, let's say they'll ask you to get a COVID test, है blood test, urine test, and so on. So falana dimkana, first they ask you to go through these many type of test. Scan, yeah, they diagnose you. Basically what they are doing, diagnosing you. So connected to teaching now. Now first, if you all are doing previous year series, so like I am trying to first understand. If I don't know you at all, then I'll try to ask you that okay, how much of it is done. So either Diagnostic test in teaching, diagnostic assessment in teaching can be done at the beginning of the new unit. I can ask, okay, this is what your current knowledge is like, and then you compare at the end of the study that where you have achieved. So you try to diagnose. Why diagnostic and assessment is done? To understand the learning difficulties of the student. Okay, learning difficulties means which are the weak areas from student, or where to start learning. That is where you do diagnostic assessment. Okay, so this is it about types of tests. Let's move on to new question. Take time, it is a little lengthy question. First we can answer and then we discuss it. Okay.
A, ma'am.
A. Okay. A. So A. Learners commitment. Certainly yes, learners commitment is one of the learners uh, perspective which influence teaching. Like for example, if I take classes daily and you don't turn up for classes, then you are not committed to learning. So learners commitment is very very important aspect. Yes. Then the third is prior knowledge for learner. Okay, somebody who may have already completed the entire conceptual series and then doing the test series, the test series will be more beneficial for them than a fresher. Yeah, prior knowledge for a learner plays an again important role. And fourth one, skill of the learner in the concerned area. Like for example, how much of skilled you are in particular area. Yes. So what it does not influence, let's understand, because these options come again and again. So parents interest, sure short no, है. Then socio-economic background of the learner is not a major factor, and family size of learner not at all relevant to learner's characteristics.